Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in today's segment I wanted to discuss with you the risk for a disease bloom now that Sandy has hit and the aftermath is upon us. There are 4 factors that I think are going to contribute to a bloom of disease up in the Northeast as a direct result of Sandy, and they are, number 1, cold, flu, winter season is upon us. That's a big one. 2, garbage and disaster refuse is still out there, still in the street. 3, the low quality of food that people are consuming currently up in the Northeast. And 4, the close living quarters of those who have been displaced by the storm. So, let's go ahead and unpack this. Along each step of the way here, I want us to be observational here. We need to look at what's happening, but also we need to be contemplative. We need to take a step back and process our observations and extrapolate a little bit as to how that could apply to us in any given disaster scenario. So, first things first. Flu and winter season is upon us, and right now there are a bunch of people up north who are stressed, who are tired, who are displaced, who are functioning outside of their standard norm. Not to mention the fact that winter is fixing to hit us. Our vitamin D levels get lower in the winter because we're not out in the sun as much. Vitamin D is integral to our immune system functioning. Right now, there are a bunch of people who are already in a higher latitude. Subsequently, their vitamin D levels are naturally going to be lower in the winter than somebody who lived, say, in Florida. When you have this combined together with the following factors, the subsequent factors that I'm going to discuss, it sets people up for a disadvantage. Because when your body isn't functioning and it's not being given the external input to create the vitamin D that it needs, it puts people off, and their body is not going to be able to fight things as well as it normally would. So the flu season, that's one of the contributing factors. As preppers, we need to take a step back, look at all of this and say, okay, in the wintertime, it would probably be a good thing for me to supplement my vitamin D. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you what I do. And I take 10,000 units of vitamin D a day. Some people may say that's excessive. I don't particularly have a ton of faith in our standard recommended daily allowances of vitamins. There's a lot of contention surrounding them, and certain vitamin daily intake levels are up for review currently. Vitamin D and I believe vitamin A are fixing to get reviewed as well. So, flu season. The second is the garbage and the refuse that's circulating around in the Northeast as a result of this. The utility boards, I'm sure, are doing as best as they can do in order to deal with the massive amount of debris and just flat out garbage that's scattered around. The reality of the situation is that whenever you have garbage in an area, especially food-related garbage, it's going to attract rodents and other animals. Rodents especially carry disease. Not to mention that if that debris, that refuse, has come into contact with humans or contains human body fluids. Prime example here that I'm thinking of is used sanitary napkins from women on their periods floating around in the garbage. That's actually a given. There are other things that we need to keep it G-rated, so we won't delve into that too much. But when you're looking at these contaminants circulating around, it is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Contaminates the water, the surrounding area. So people, especially if they go picking through things, looters not so much because, let's face it, their risk for getting shot is it's actually not as high in the Northeast as it could. Sidetrack, anyway. When people are picking through stuff, when they're picking through refuse, their likelihood for coming into contact with these contaminated garbage products is higher. So that's going to increase your risk for disease. Well, we need to tuck back into our Rolodex as preppers. Don't go picking through garbage for food. If you have people that you have brought into your group who have been picking through garbage or dumpster diving or whatever, they need to be decontaminated before they come into your space. Clean them off, whatever. But we don't need to be doing that. We need to stay as far away from that garbage, from that contaminated source as we possibly can. 3, the low food quality that people are intaking up in the Northeast, especially those who are in the shelters. Please do not misunderstand me. I am very, very grateful, as I am sure those folks are up there who are partaking of disaster relief services like the Red Cross and volunteer efforts to feed people. I am not dismissing that in any way, but we need to recognize that MREs, and really even the canned foods, they're an inferior quality of food as compared to fresh fruits and vegetables. They do not contain the same amounts of readily available vitamins, nutrients, minerals, etc. Fresh fruits and vegetables do. When you're dealing with people who are already stressed, who are in foreign environment, who are operating outside of their norm, and you pile on top of that not the best quality of fresh food, that's not giving your body, the lack of fresh food is depriving your body of much needed vitamins and nutrients, especially the water soluble vitamins like vitamin C that are integral to your immune health and your immune functioning. When folks are deprived of those vitamins and nutrients, their risk for disease is going to go up. The fourth factor is the close living quarters. And in the close living quarters, this is just a factor of what happens when people are displaced from their homes and have to go into shelters. I'm sure they're very happy to have a place to go. And the folks at the shelters who are manning them are probably doing their best to contain disease and to prevent disease. But it is a fact that whenever large numbers of people congregate in a contained and confined space, disease is going to spread, period. It's like a little petri dish. Especially when you're dealing with children really between the ages of about 8 months to 3 or 4 years. Basically kids whose hygiene skills have not been particularly well developed. Petri dish. So we need to evaluate this as well as preppers. We need to pay special diligence to keeping our camp clean, keeping our environment clean, making sure we're diligent to implement measures like hand washing, etc. This is very mundane stuff, folks, but it could save your life. It could save you a lot of misery too. Forget your life for a second. Let's just say that you don't keel over from something. Being knocked out with the flu or some other type of transient bug for 10 to 12 to 14 days, that ain't fun either. So all of these factors that we've discussed here, they're kind of blasé, but they all contribute to what could very well be a disease blossom, a bloom in infectious diseases in the Northeast. So what if you don't live in the Northeast? Why would you care about this? Because people travel. Folks get on planes. Folks come and drive down to see their family. If this disease bloom, which I could be wrong, but if this disease bloom happens up in the Northeast, it will not stay confined to the Northeast. It will disperse all across the country and to probably other parts of the world too. So we need to be on guard for this. I have already seen some very, very nasty bugs going around. Actually, I had a report, one friend of mine in Middle Tennessee sent me a report that her immediate group of people had all been infected with this upper respiratory infection that was hitting people and lasting between 10 to 20 days with fevers exceeding 101 for extended periods of time. So it's probably going to be a pretty nasty winter season for disease. So what we need to do is to pay attention to these given areas that we've discussed today and try and cover them as well as we can with preventative measures. So that is what I have for you guys today. I wanted to give you an update on the Patriot Nurse classes. This weekend I will be in Lexington, Kentucky. Yeehaw! Class is sold out, so that's very good. The next class, if you couldn't get into that one, is Sunday, December 9th in Knoxville, Tennessee. So you can make your way on over to the website, www.thepatriotnurse.com, and register for classes there. January class, this will be fun, will be in Philly. The Philadelphia class will be January 20th, Sunday, January 20th, and then Fort Lauderdale will be February 24th. The March class, I need to give you guys an update on. The March date that I had given you was Easter Sunday. So I have to change that. The updated class schedule is on the website, but it is Sunday the 17th of March in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and then the Friday preceding that is the San Antonio area. So I hope it's been helpful for you guys today. And for now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later.